How many times throughout this movie does he check that magazine?
Oh, still no bullets.
Shit.
I hate school.
It's like 10 times throughout the movie. He's like, checking the gun. Nope.
Hello and welcome back to the 37th episode of Good, Bad, or Bad, Bad Boys. We almost made it to 40. But look, unfortunately the show's over.
Just like Corey Haim.
Wait, he was 40, wasn't he?
No, it's 38.
Oh, God. Oh, 37th episode of Good, Bad, or Bad, Bad Show. We watch our when we tell you should too. I'm your host, Brian Schilligan, my other host, Kyle Hinton, and today we are talking about the film
Demolition High.
Hi.
May I help you?
I hope so. I'm looking for the Mayfield nuclear power plant.
Starring one, Corey Haim.
No. Lenny Slater, how you doing?
No longer with us.
No,
Also,
R.I.P.
Alan Thicke.
At least there I can get a good cup of coffee.
No longer with us. Also, Dick Van Patten.
We're not even sure they have the missile. If we start evacuating the whole city now, there'll be more deaths from sheer panic than there would be if they blew up the school.
No longer with us.
In the arms of the angel.
So this is a really bad. I said 80s. It's not an 80s movie.
No, this is
It's a 90s.
mid-90s.
This is a 90s movie. It's basically Die Hard.
Die Hard in high school.
In high school.
Yep.
That's it. That's basically all there is to it. My favorite thing about this whole movie was I turned it on and I looked at that runtime and it said 80 minutes and I was like, cha-ching! We're gonna get in and out of this one.
Yeah. This isn't a 2-hour
No.
go to sleep.
No, hour and 20. Let's get it done. Let's get it rocking. So it's about a bunch of terrorists. Who,
Led by the dude from The Walking
Jeff
Dead.
Kober. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He plays a really good villain.
Mhm.
He was in like seasons back when I actually still watched Walking Dead.
Yeah, he was the leader of
Claimers.
the
That Daryl
motorcycle
joins
dude.
up with. Yeah, that Daryl joins up with for a bit.
Just add some gray, add a beard.
Yeah.
Add more crazy.
Yeah, but so he's like the lead of this terrorist gang. Well, they're not terrorists, but they pretend to be terrorists, kind of. I mean, I guess they're still technically terrorists. Even
This movie doesn't describe, like, it tries to explain something, but then doesn't deliver, and you're just like, who are
and
these
100%,
people?
well, 100% just rips off the Die Hard thing, where they pretend to be this terrorist group. Opening the movie, they break into a military base and they steal a thing. We don't know what it is initially. They steal a big box from the military base, kill a bunch of people.
It would be nice if we had somebody who's like, I don't know, drilling through a vault. Just something to describe, this is what we're actually after.
Yeah.
Instead of a guy in front of a computer saying, yep.
The guy in front of the computer was breaking into the missile so they could shoot it at what they
which has
wanted
nothing to do later on with what they were supposed to be after.
Yeah, it does. Okay, that's what I'm saying. They pull a Die Hard in this movie.
Yeah.
They pull we're terrorists. They when they eventually get to the high school, they say they're terrorists and they have all these crazy demands about they want the government to end. Turns out they're all just there for money. It's the exact same thing as Die Hard, where they pretend to have some sort of agenda, but they're really just there to steal money.
I get that.
Right.
I get that.
Okay.
We're just breaking right.
Why are you confused then?
Well, because he's tapping into this missile to shoot it at
the nuclear power plant.
Yes. What is that? What does any of that have to do with the
they
gold?
Don't explain it. But
here's the gold reserve or the
it's a
currency reserve.
They have the town is famous for having a place where they burn old money.
Besides the power plant, there's nothing. Unless you count the reserve incinerator.
What?
The Federal Reserve incinerator. It's here. You know, it's where they inventory and then they destroy all the old currency.
It is the Federal Reserve incinerator. They burn millions of dollars of non-in-circulation money. So their plan, as convoluted and stupid as it is, was to steal a nuclear missile from a military base nearby and then shoot it at the nuclear power plant in town, blowing it up, causing widespread devastation and like a state of emergency. And then while everybody's busy dealing with all the nuclear fallout, they had nuclear suits with them like nuclear protection suits or whatever, and they were gonna then go to the incinerator place and steal all the money that's at the incinerator because they're the only ones in town with nuclear protective suits, and everybody else would be either dead or like...
Well, thank you for explaining it to me more clearly than the movie did.
They never explain it, like what their actual goal is, but I gathered that had to be what it was, because they go, they're going to shoot it, and they say there's one line at some point where somebody says something about once they're dealing with that, or once the nuclear plant blows up, we'll be able to just walk out of here with the money, basically. Is like...
It makes sense. He wipes out the town, then he and his men, I guess, take whatever they want.
Let's
It's
just get
still a
it.
stupid plan.
Yeah,
It's still, you're gonna nuke a whole town full of people to steal $1 million. Like, all right, cool. So after the opening, they steal we meet our deadly vixen, who's like the partner of Jeff Kober. I can't even remember what her name is in this. She's our sexy deadly lady, and she kills the guard, and then they break in.
Sit down.
And they steal the missile.
She has a hand cannon.
She has a deagle, it looks like, or like a Desert Eagle, I assume. Yeah, it's a huge fucking caliber pistol, which is important, and we'll need to talk about that later because I had some issues with that. So they kill the next day. We meet Corey Haim at school, right?
Yes, he
Great
is.
bowl cut.
He is the new guy.
The new guy in town. Where's he from, Kyle?
Yo, I'm from the Bronx.
Where are you from, Leonard? I told you it's Lenny, from the Bronx. The Bronx? New York?
What's his name?
Lenny Slater, I'm from the Bronx.
Lenny Slater.
He says, I'm Lenny from the Bronx.
It's Lenny from the Bronx.
And all I could think of was that stupid Jennifer Lopez song, I'm Just Jenny from the Block.
I'm still Jenny from the block. I'm still
Lenny from the Bronx.
This is like him desperately trying to pull anything from the 80s he possibly can.
He's like,
into the
hello,
90s.
my fellow kids. I am an unassuming high school student. So he just transferred from the Bronx.
I gotta pause you right now. We're gonna talk about this. Brian, how many Corey Haim films have you seen?
I have seen now. This is my first, I think, Corey Haim film I've ever seen.
Have you seen License to Drive?
Nope.
Have you seen Lost Boys?
I have not seen the Lost
What the
Boys.
fuck is wrong with you?
I don't know, man. I somehow missed out on that one.
We had previously Jason Patrick in Speed 2.
I just pretended to know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
for God's sake.
Jason Patrick and Lost Boys. I was like, yeah.
Dude, like he wasn't even exciting to watch in Lost Boys. And that's like the Lost Boys. And that's like the
I mean, I know of the film.
Add
but...
Kiefer Sutherland, add Jason Patrick,
I know.
add the two Coreys.
Both Coreys. I know.
Joel Schumacher and a greased up, half naked saxophone man. With vampires, and you had Lost Boys. It's great. Also, it has my favorite Rob Lowe cameo ever. Input frame right now.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to watch it now. I've never seen it. I honestly didn't even know what it was. When I found out it was about vampires, I was like, wait, what? I thought it was like
it's so perfectly bad.
I thought it was like
I think it has Alex Winter in it too.
It does.
From Bill
It
and
does.
Ted.
I saw from Bill and Ted. I saw him in the poster or whatever. But I totally thought it was like a when I heard the Lost Boys and saw the cover, I just thought it was like a greaser's
Not like you thought he was basically what he was in Stand By Me.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And then I'm like, vampires? Wait, what? All right. Anyways, I
just wanted to take a moment out to bash Brian for not watching that.
Yeah. So he gets confronted by like the jockey kids in the hallway, which is great.
This is a very this is the I don't know who wrote this, but this is exactly how I imagined every PSA ever about like school bullying coming up.
Yeah, I love because they come up and they're like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Lenny." He goes, "Oh, Lenny. What's that short for?" Leonard.
So Lenny, what's that short for, huh? Leonard.
Oh, got him. Oh, good one. I'm like, wait, that's not an insult. Like, what are you talking about? What's that short for, Leonard? Yup. No. All right. And then so they like, he's like, Corey Haim's like, well, fuck you, let's fight.
Oh, now you're gonna kick my ass.
No, man.
Hey, come on, get some New York.
Like, all right.
And Corey Haim's like I guess like pretends to know karate,
He knows karate
or
a
not.
little, I guess, but we never.
And we say karate in place of some martial
Some
arts.
sort of he can do a thing, like he kicks and punches, and it's not just like boxing. Yeah, But so they fight in the hallway, and Corey Haim kicks his ass. And but also this other jock dude kind of knows martial arts because he does that thing, and somebody.
Oh, the flip.
Oh yeah. Ooh, that's so pretty.
The flip up,
Yeah.
which what's his name couldn't do in Meltdown. But he does it, and so he has some training. It's very strange. I was like, are we gonna have one of those situations where everybody in this world like kind of knows karate or whatever?
Like a Michael Bay film.
Or like whatchamacallit? The serial raper murderer guy. What was that movie that we reviewed? Where everybody knew kung fu, even the secretary.
Undefeatable.
Undefeatable, that's it, yeah. Oh my god. And then he turns around and he's there, and she starts fucking kung fu fighting him. And I'm like, what?
You're a psychiatrist.
How do you know kung fu? What is going on? Okay, so we're introduced to him and the jockey bad guy, and then he gets called to the office by the security guard.
The security guard is like
great.
Hey, you kids! You guys know the roast about loitering in the halls after hours?
I don't know if he's a bit if he's a bit actor who's like in a whole bunch of stuff, but just like always plays that guy. But like he just looks like the I hate my job kind of guy.
Yeah, it's like if you have a casting call,
Yes.
it's like I need an overweight middle-aged man who hates his life and everything about himself, and it's like this guy.
Cha-ching.
We gotcha. We got you covered.
Linda Slater. It's nice to meet you.
And then so we cut to he gets called into the office, and then we cut to the cops. I think
Yes.
out in and there's these two cops. And I love this. So they're sitting there and they're reading the newspaper. The newspaper says military massacre at the base or whatever. And there are guys like, yeah, Chief said to look out for that van, a big white van, because they could come through town. And they're like, it won't be.
What happens, Brian?
Big white truck. We're supposed to keep an eye out for it.
Like it's gonna come through Mayfield.
As soon as the guy goes, not here, drives right in front of their face.
So what's the solution the second they see this van that is linked to 8 homicides?
8 homicides. Just chase it.
Just chase it.
Chase after it. And then even fucking better, it pulls over.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Do you call for backup?
No, well, yeah, one guy might call for backup. But
Do they call for backup yet?
No, they don't. You're right. They don't. You're right, because he calls for backup later. But so if just one of you gets out, gun holstered, but he does take the little thing off at least. So he's got a quick access to it. Gun holstered, walks up to the door of the suspected vehicle containing a group of people that murdered 8 people at a military base last night. And you're just like, how you doing today?
How's that gonna result?
I do have a small problem, though, that you might be able to help me with.
Oh? And what might that be?
Well, I hate cops.
You're gonna get shot in the chest. And so she pulls out her gun, and this happens numerous times, but people have terrible reaction times in this. She pulls out her gun and turns and goes, I hate cops. And the guy doesn't do anything.
What?
He just, and then gets shot in the chest.
I hate cops.
And then one of my favorite moments in the whole film, he gets shot, falls on the sidewalk, his partner runs over to him, looks at him, and goes, all right, and then runs back, gets in his car, calls in and goes, oh, we got an officer down, but just leaves his partner in the middle of the street bleeding to death.
You know?
And drives after the van, and I'm like, that's not what you would do in this situation. You would absolutely help and make sure that your guy might not die, because I mean he just took one bullet to. I mean he's probably dying, but
well, it's movie logic, which means if you're a minor character and you get shot,
anywhere,
you're dead. Anywhere, you're dead.
Instantly dead. They also litter after they see the truck. The guy just throws his coffee out the window.
You know what? It's like a waste of good donut.
cold start pollution, people can stop it.
And we get to the... Actually, we don't go to the office yet. They go to the locker room, because this scene's important. Because it's really weird, and I don't understand. So, the two jockey guys, or the three jockey guys, are like, let's spy on the girls' locker room.
This scene drove me insane, because logistically it made no fucking sense. They stand up over the lockers, and you can see a door frame.
And, like, windows, and, like, it looks like a wall. Right?
Yes.
Or something? Yeah. And then they look over, and then they're looking into the girls' locker room somehow.
That means where they're at, there's a door frame that just goes into the ladies' locker room, and you're just like, what's the whole... Okay, you can just literally walk in there.
Just walk right in there. So they're spying over the lockers, and they're like, being, you know...
Yeah, we're horny teenage boys.
Yeah, horny teenager stuff. We're horny 28-year-olds. So then they leave, and then Corey Haim comes up and looks over and is just staring, and then the girls see him and they're like, "Hey!" and he's like, "What? No, I'm sorry, no." And I'm like, but he keeps staying up there and staring at him, and then the security guard shows up and takes him to the office, and then this makes no sense to me. So they get to the office, and the guy's like, we meet the principal, and there's a lot in this scene, but this one little thing, he goes,
"Looks obvious I've been framed for something I didn't do."
I've been framed for something I didn't do.
You did it!
You did exactly! He does this numerous times in this movie where he tries to say, I wasn't doing it. You were absolutely looking into the girl's... Like, I'm so confused at what his...
That's insanity. That's just because somebody else also did that thing doesn't make you
not
admissible to it. Like,
it's so weird. He goes, "They framed me." Like no.
If you watch somebody like shoot somebody and then you go and you shoot somebody else, you can't just say, "I'm framed for that."
For this. This other guy's
no, that's just two separate homicides.
They're also guilty, but so are you. Like, I don't understand what you're... And later in the movie, he straight up tries to gaslight the girl. He's like, he says to her, and I was like, Corey Haim, stop trying to gaslight this girl.
Right, I'm also talking about some bitch I got with him, some crazy bitch who almost blew my head off when I was in Vogel's office, taking the rap for your boyfriend's little peeping Tom stunt.
That was you?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's what he said. He goes, "I was taking the blame," because it's him and the girl and the guy. And he's like, "I was taking the blame for you." Like, and he's like trying to convince the girl that he wasn't peeping on her. I'm like, you absolutely were. We all saw it. What is going on? So then during this fucking scene, the principal
pulls out a gun.
Oh, yes. And that is just what the owner of this said. And he is now doing, let's see, 5 to 7 years in the state penitentiary.
The principal of this high school keeps a gun in his desk.
He says, like, this was yes, he said this was a, you think you're all like hard and a tough guy. Well, you know who else thought they were a tough guy? The guy who had this. Now he's serving like 5 years in prison.
Yeah.
You're supposed to turn that over. That's evidence.
Evidence, man. You don't just get to keep that and then pull it out and wave it around and show students every now and then when you get them in your office. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
But this is where shit all hits the fan.
So the cop was chasing the truck through town, and now he has backup like cop cars. And the
no, there's just that one cop still.
Oh, at the time still. Yeah, you're right.
And I gotta say, that cop goes super cop at this moment.
Yeah, he does.
Because
so they go, well, this place is as good as any.
Yes.
And they pull into the school.
Pull in. This is as good as it's gonna get.
And nobody has a sense of hearing, which we'll talk about right now. So a shootout then occurs. They show up. Our cop guy shoots one of them, and they're shooting at him. And then
I could be wrong. I think he shoots two, which is why I called him. I call him super cop. But he takes out two of them, and then he decides, I'm out of ammo with this weapon. I better get out of cover and run away.
Yeah. And the best thing, so the principal hears this going on and sends the security guard out there.
Yes. But he's looking at it through the window. He kind of knows what's going on.
Yeah. And keep in mind, there's an active gunfight going on. I don't know if you've ever been around guns. They're not quiet.
No.
Like, there's like people shooting machine guns.
Even when you have like a silencer, suppressor on a gun, it's still loud as shit.
But there's not. They're in the courtyard of the high school having a fucking machine gun shootout with shotguns. Nobody in the whole school hears this happen. None of them hear this. None of the students are any of the wiser that this is fucking going on.
I didn't connect that because I have so many students there afterwards.
Yeah, none of this, because then they're like, oh, look, we gotta go to take them all to the auditorium or whatever.
This is an emergency. Please, everyone, go to the assembly hall.
And none of them are like, well, maybe this has something to do with that shootout that just happened in the fucking... Like, none of them have any idea.
Guys, hey, listen to me. Don't go to the assembly hall, right? You gotta help me get everybody together and get them out of the building.
Eat shit, dirtbag.
Oh, but I love when the security guard comes out. He walks out the door.
Hey, you!
Freeze! He tells him to freeze!
Hey, you guys, freeze!
They're all actively shooting machine guns at a cop. And he just walks out and goes, freeze.
And what happens, Brian?
No gun drawn! It just gets fucking obliterated.
Hey, you guys, freeze!
He gets shot like 20 times.
I will say he has the most realistic fall to his death, like against a door, though. Like I saw that happen, I was like, damn, that actually looks pretty legit.
Yeah, and he falls, and you can see the squib wires sticking out of his pants that ran up to power the squib. It's fucking great. So he gets obliterated, and he's super dead. So then she randomly sees Corey Haim in the principal's window and shoots at him.
Her walk into that frame is like, this is my mark. Yeah. I turn here and do this action, walk away.
Yeah. And why would she shoot at a random student looking out a window? It's so
well, as we know, she has a god-honest bloodlust.
She's got a god-honest bloodlust.
I truly believe you have an honest-to-God bloodlust.
I just do what needs to be done.
No, so GBorBB drinking game. After they do all this, they group back up, and they get ready to go inside. And she walks up and she says, "Piece of cake."
Piece of cake.
I was like, yeah, everybody drink.
In memory of Carlo.
Piece of cake.
And again, this is the thing. So the principal is just walking down the hall and then gets ambushed by these people. And I'm like, how did you not hear the gunfight? I'm so mad that nobody heard a fucking military incursion happening on their high school campus.
And like, let's take it. Jeff Kober, up to this point, I think his name's Luther. His character's name is Luther in the film. He's been pretty like a hardened, leader guy, just military like leader.
Kind of
this is where he throws on that charisma charm, and it's just this is where it becomes fun.
Are you the proprietor of this establishment? Don't hurt me! Don't hurt me! Ah! Ah! I asked you a question.
They actually got he's good enough. They did a good job getting a bad guy who was charismatic and scary enough to kind of make it work. Like, as bad as this movie is overall, and it's not good, and it's very silly, like, he's really
definitely
good.
my favorite
character. Yeah, he's really good in it.
Him and Mustache Henchman. That guy is amazing.
Yeah. And Bernie. We'll talk about Bernie. I'm a fan of Bernie.
Bernie?
Yeah.
Kill it all. Now.
You got it.
So the principal, they have the principal call them all into the auditorium.
His whenever they pull the gun on him, his immediate reaction is, "Oh God, don't hurt me!"
No.
Thing we want. Oh, God, don't hurt me! Don't hurt me! Ah!
Yeah. That principal's kind of a shithead. And I recognized him from somewhere.
It felt like they were desperately trying to recreate the principal from like Ferris Bueller's Day Off or something.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
This is where we are introduced to the amazingness that is Alan Thicke's hair. His hair is flawless.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and his voice is flawless.
They won't release their demands until the FBI gets here. Get me a perimeter set up. I want a SWAT team. Get me fire department, bomb squad, EMS.
So he's the police chief, captain, whatever, chief.
No, he's the chief, but his office is literally in the middle of the precinct.
Yeah.
Like it's not behind any kind of, there's no privacy to his office whatsoever.
His desk is literally just in the middle of the room. Like the door to entrance is like right behind him. Like everybody's, it's very strange. They call him and then he finds out they have this, because I think the principal calls him and says like, don't.
Yeah. Basically Luther gave him a list of demands.
Yeah.
And so he called up the local police to issue that.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Stace, what do you say we hang out here for a little while?
But they said it was an emergency.
It's probably just a fire drill or something.
Oh, when they get in the auditorium, I love this. So the woman, a crazy woman, is standing at the front of the auditorium with the gun in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the students, it's like, hey, I think there might be something bad going on here.
Hey man, something bad's cooking.
Really? Wasn't the other armed guys who were locking the doors behind you?
It's like, good thinking, dude. Yeah, no shit. All these people with guns is this a normal Tuesday at your fucking high school? Where it's like armed insurgents? And then so Corey Haim tries to call the police, and I love this little sign of the times. He doesn't have enough change for the payphone.
Oh man, shouldn't have had that extra milk.
Extra milk.
Damn. I shouldn't have bought that second milk.
Which, spoiler, you can call the police without money from a payphone, unless it was different back then.
Yes.
But
No, you can.
You can absolutely call 911 from the operator without money from a payphone. I love this. This drove me insane. The selective hearing. So they're making him and the girl, jock dude, whatever his name is, and the girl are making out in the gymnasium or whatever, and they start hearing police sirens.
Shh. Did you hear that? Sounds like sirens. Listen.
But they had a guy even enter the gymnasium.
Yeah,
they're like, take no note of him whatsoever.
I know, but you can hear the police sirens in the distance. Couldn't hear all the gunfire.
Nope.
Ooh, are those police sirens? Okay.
Selective hearing.
And then we find out that the bad guys have a missile guidance system, they say.
Is it true that terrorists have possession of a new top secret missile guidance system?
But it turns out it's actually just a missile, eventually we find out. And then this is also where we find out that Alan Thicke is Chief Slater.
Is it also true that your son's a student here?
Oh, Chief Slater.
Yeah, and our good main character is Lenny Slater, the son of Alan. So, Corey Haim is Alan Thicke's son in this movie. They just moved together from the Bronx because his mom died.
Yes.
And they were trying to get somewhere more peaceful.
And apparently he was like one of the dudes in charge of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing.
Chief, is it true you were one of the officers in the World Trade Center bombing?
That's a matter of record.
Like that was just something that I had to bring up for reason. It's completely almost unrelated. All it's there to do is like connection to. Remember this thing that's official that he might have some sort of relevance to.
Yeah. Can we pause this? I want to fix these lights. This looks really dark.
Yeah, it's starting to look like the dark days of GBorBB back in the old apartment.
Yeah. Yeah, in my old apartment where we shot with like one lamp, and one time we shot it was like storming, and it was like it was super dark, and like you can hear thunder in the background. So Melanie's like talking to the alien in her own head.
That might be able to work in a novel. That does not work in a movie.
No, because the whole first half of this movie is voiceover and flashback.
Yes,
and every scene is a flashback for the first.
And it has like
minutes.
a foggy like tube effect.
It's all blurry. So at this point, the three of them, it's the blonde girl, jockey dude, and Corey Haim are all hanging out, and they're in the hallway, and they see them unboxing the missile. Because they have a missile.
Yes, and this is another thing of complete lack of awareness for characters in this movie. There's so many times when people completely just have no peripheral vision whatsoever.
No. They're Corey Haim and the other two people are like 20 feet down the hall, leaning out, and there's like 8 henchmen.
Like comedically leaning out.
And like whispering loudly at each other.
It looks like something straight out of Scooby-Doo where they're looking around a corner.
And they literally, and then they go back around the corner and have like a normal volume conversation like 30 feet from these people.
It looks like they've got some kind of bomb or something.
Yeah, whatever it is, it ain't good.
Oh, what now, genius?
All right, you just get out of here while you got a chance.
I just would have loved the movie if it's like they're having this like kind of hushed whispering argument with each other, and one of the guys just walks around the corner and is like, and kills them all, and then the movie ends. But so like Corey Haim's like, no, we gotta do something, and the girl's like, okay.
I'm getting the hell out of here.
You go ahead if you want to. I want to help.
And the other guy's like, I don't wanna.
No, they have he has the right thing, which is they have automatic weapons.
What are we gonna do?
What the fuck are you gonna do?
Well, he goes, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go get that gun out of the principal's desk.
Well, there's a gun in Vogel's office. What are you, crazy? Those dudes have machine guns.
Tchaikovsky's gun coming back.
Oh my god. But they get to the principal's office and they get the gun and he checks it, and of course it doesn't have any ammo.
Empty, yeah, because he doesn't. He might be a stupid principal, but he's not that insane.
How many times throughout this movie does he check that magazine?
Oh, still no bullets.
Shit. I hate school.
It's like 10 times throughout the movie. He's like, checking the gun. Nope, still nothing.
There's one actively later where it's like a big moment, and he's like, oh shit. It's still like he keeps forgetting it doesn't have
You
bullets.
can't will ammo into the gun.
I love it. So this is great. Well, they're in there. They realize that the terrorist taped the button down on the...
For what reason, I have no clue.
So they could hear if somebody went into the principal's office?
What? Shit, the bastard take the mic down. It's on.
Why would they think... But so they tape the button down on the little PA system so they know they're in there. And at this point...
That's so old school.
It's so stupid. And so at this point, the principal tries to tackle one of them who's like going in there. And what's her name? Just...
And by the way, if it's that powerful of a handgun, that's going straight through him and hitting the dude behind.
Oh my god, I had so many issues with that. So it happens right here. She shoots the guy's hanging on Jeff Kober, and she shoots him, but it just hits him and Kober's fine. Later, there's a scene where Corey Haim's fighting with the dude, and he has the dude in front of him, and she shoots the dude like 8 times from 4 feet away with a fucking Desert Eagle 50 cal whatever. Like, the thing can go through a goddamn engine block. Like, it's not, the dude's rib cage is not stopping. That scene is she shoots that guy 8 times, he falls over dead, and then Corey Haim looks down and has 6 bullet holes in him and also falls over dead. Like, holy shit.
Rest in peace, mustache.
I love this little thing I meant to mention earlier. There's a scene where when they're playing basketball in the gym, and then they go outside, and Corey Haim is shooting hoops by himself on the blacktop.
Yeah.
And they're like, look at this fucking dickhead.
What's up? Take a look at the new kid, Mr. Hotshot.
That's all right. We'll take care of him later.
They're like, we'll get him later. For doing what? Playing basketball by himself? Like, what is going on?
This feels like a PSA.
Yeah, it's like the least motivated bullying ever. They're just like, look at him, fucking shithead, sitting there thinking he can shoot hoops alone on our school.
with amazing high school outdoor basketball equipment that has no chains or netting or anything.
Yeah. That's how I don't think we had nets. Occasionally we would, but
Brian grew up in a tough neighborhood.
Not really. It's fine. Whenever Jeff Kober wants to get anybody's attention in this movie, he fires his gun in the air 20 times. Not once, not like, bang, hey, listen to me. He goes, bang, 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 bang. Listen up. Why did you need to shoot 12 rounds into the ceiling to do that? All right, cool.
When initially Alan Thicke takes command, he's there and people try getting him coffee, and this is just a common theme throughout the movie of Alan Thicke. He can't get good coffee
Not
here.
in Mayfield. In New York, they got the best coffee. In Mayfield, it's terrible.
At least there I can get a good cup of coffee.
And I love the first scene where he spits it out. His assistant or partner or whatever is very actively broken character, just laughing at Alan Thicke spitting out coffee.
At least there I can get a good cup of coffee.
Like he's just very clearly like.
That wasn't even supposed to be in the movie. They were just doing some test footage. That was just his assistant to Alan Thicke giving him coffee.
His actual coffee, and as his Alan Thicke actually works in that scene. He's like, "Yeah, fucking, this is terrible." And he's like, "Can't any good coffee around here." It's like, "I'm sorry, Mr. Thicke." So Dugan and Dumford.
I'm just gonna say, if his sitcom career never worked out, porn name, he's got it.
Yeah. Dugan and Dumford are the FBI agents. They show up.
This is Police Chief Slater. I have FBI agents. Dugan and Dunford.
And then so they're talking to him, and this is where he's the Cobra or whatever spins his. We want our demands are that the government disband essentially, and get rid of all the military bureaucracy, everything, like completely shut down.
All the military arsenal come directly to us. Yes.
Yeah, I was like, this is the point where like these are the most ridiculous demands that anybody has ever had.
First, we require the federal government to completely disband and dissolve all its military, law enforcement, and bureaucratic agencies. Second, all assets and arms in possession of these agencies shall be turned over to our cause.
And so it's pretty clear. I was like, okay, they're doing like a Die Hard thing where they're actually just going to be in it for some money or something.
We got a loony on our hands.
So they go, and because he also right after it, he goes, they bought it. Like Cobra says that to them, so that you're like, okay, that's not their actual demands. They're not actually there for that.
They bought it.
So then this is where we start getting into the Corey Haim and his team of hooligans fighting back into the Die Hard aspect of this. So they go to the Kim lab.
Okay. What's your plan, asshole?
Follow me.
All right.
Yes. I love that. This is another one of the scenes that's just like perfectly stupid.
Yeah.
Because they start just releasing gas valves.
They turn in all the gas. All the gas taps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And of course, it's the 90s. So of course somebody's got to have a cigarette.
Yeah,
right?
all the high school kids had cigarettes.
Yeah.
Hey man, you got a cigarette? Why? Just give me one.
Come on, hurry up, give him one.
All right.
So they're hiding in like the office next to the Kim lab or something like that, or the closet, and they hear a guy come in. And this whole time Corey Haim has been smoking a cigarette. They hear a guy come in, and then he walks in. He's like, "What's that smell?" Because obviously it would smell like butane or whatever,
Yes.
like a motherfucker.
My dad says butane's a bastard gas. One of my favorite King of the Hill lines.
Yeah. I love, and so Corey Haim opens the door.
And he throws it in. And I was like, that was immediately igniting.
Right?
He's gonna burn!
That would immediately ignite when you open that door. It's not I open the door, whoop, throw it in, and then like I didn't. Okay, so then it lights and it blows and it lights the whole room on fire, blows the windows out, and then we get a really good stunt shot.
This also drove me insane. What floor are they on?
I thought they were up. Like,
they're on the second floor because the mustache henchman, I think his name is Black. Whatever. They're splitting up looking for these people, and he says, "You go to the basement. I'll check the first floor. You check here."
Why don't you take this floor? You take the basement. I'll take the first floor. Okay? Let's go.
Gotcha.
That implies they're on the second floor. Where's the explosion happen?
On the first floor. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. It's so stupid. But we get a great stunt shot of the guy lit on fire, like, rah!
Yes.
And then they run out, and so they got one guy down. Woo! All right, and they're like, this is where then they go to the shop room.
Yes, shop class.
But in between that, we cut back to, they decide they're going to turn the power off to the school. So they call up the power plant. And they're like, well, they don't call the power plant. Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're going to call the power plant and say, we got to cut all the power to school because they're going to turn the lights off. They're going to throw in not mustard gas.
Tear gas? What kind of... Yeah, that's exactly how the FBI works. Let's just go ahead and poison everybody.
A bunch of canisters of mustard gas.
Hey, okay, look. I know this is old school tactics, all right? It worked for the Nazis. Let's just go ahead and throw in some mustard
also
gas.
have bayonets on their rifles. Affixed bayonets. Running in, stabbing everybody. Oh, we're going to tear gas them, and then they're going to run out, and they're going to shoot them all. Is basically their plan.
We cut their power, flush them out with tear gas, and cut them off one by one as they come out the door.
Jesus, it's hot in here. So they call the God damn it.
The power plant.
Power plant. And they tell the guy, and the guy calls down.
And holy shit, this felt like something they added into the movie that was completely they're like, hey, go ahead and pass me through this guy's office.
Mayfield Power, can I help you?
This is the Mayfield Police. I need to speak to who's ever in charge.
That'll be Mr. Johnson. One moment while I connect you to his office.
I'll wait.
Not now, later.
And then the entire time, why are you showing us this? Literally, this is exactly what would happen if you called a plant. Why are you showing exactly what happened?
Mr. Johnson's office?
This is Detective Warshak with the Mayfield PD, calling for Mr. Johnson.
One moment, please. Detective Warshak on 3.
Detective, what can I do for you?
Why are we watching this at all? It's so stupid. It's just so they can introduce those characters.
Well, they gotta pad out that 80-minute film time.
Well, and we need to know who those characters are for later, for the very end of the movie, because that's important. So, but I love, so the guy in charge of the power plant calls down to like the basement or whatever, where they run the power from or whatever, and it's just one guy. And his name's Bernie. And
he has a great beard.
Yeah. And he calls down there and he goes, all right, Bernie, they're going to need us to cut the power here in a bit. And this isn't when they turn it off yet. I just love, Bernie could not look less bothered. Like, he does not give a shit.
Bernie?
Yeah?
Look, be ready to shut down the whole thing on my order.
Whatever you say, boss.
He just could not give a fuck. Like, he's just there. Bernie shows up like 3 times and he just flips switches. It's great.
Whatever you say, boss.
At this point, we got to get to the shop. We cut back to the school.
Okay, everything up here has been kind of, cheeky, cartoonish almost to a certain degree.
But not like overtly
not hardcore.
Not hardcore.
They put oil on the floor.
This is the best scene ever.
And then he looks to his right and sees a circular saw.
I couldn't believe what was happening when this scene started happening. I was like, what are we gonna do here? And then
but the henchman hears the circular saw and says, oh, they're over there, I better charge in. Slips and flies into the blade.
Face first. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Slides across the floor
and blood goes everywhere.
Forehead goes into the circular saw.
Like, the first time you're like, you light a dude on fire, all right, that's cheeky, it could be considered,
it makes sense.
It's on the low end of violence in the degree of Hollywood.
Yeah,
but then you circular saw a dude's face, that is hardcore.
And it has to be so perfect. The guy has to slide directly face first into the circular saw. It's not like in the other one, he blows up a whole room. Okay, this one, the guy has to slip and fall and go.
And then we go, well, we just, sawed off a guy's face, basically. What's the next move?
Grab a machine gun.
Grab a machine gun and blow another dude away.
Another guy runs in and he shoots the shit out of that guy. And this drove me insane, because that guy also had a machine gun.
Yes.
Corey Haim's now out of ammo, sets it down. Runs out. Grab the other guy's machine.
Not only that, later on he's in the shop again with his little gun that has no ammo that he keeps checking. There's a gun right there.
There's a gun right there.
There's a gun right there.
That guy had a gun. He didn't shoot it at all. Take that gun. Jesus. All right, so this is when they turn the power off. Bernie flips the switch. Literally flips a circuit breaker in the basement to cut power to the school.
Bernie?
Yeah.
Kill it all. Now.
You got it. Here it goes.
That's not how that works.
You can't tell me otherwise. Bernie knows what the fuck he's doing. He knows how to flip that switch on the wall.
Whatever you say, boss.
And then this is all pointless because they flip it off. Then Cobra calls him, is like, if you guys don't turn the power back on, we're gonna kill everybody.
Well, I'm telling you that as long as the power is off, I'm going to be disciplining students.
What does that mean?
Figure it out.
And then they, to show they're serious, they throw the principal off the second floor building.
Yeah, because he was already dead, but yeah.
Yeah, but like we're showing you we mean business now.
And I'm like, okay, but your whole plan was to throw the tear gas in once the lights were out and then smoke them out. But they don't even try that.
No.
He calls him and goes, if you don't turn the lights back on, I'm going to kill everybody. And they're like, oh, okay, I guess we'll turn the lights back on, and immediately turn the lights back on.
Johnson, you still there?
Yeah, it's all been cut.
I know, but now we have to have you turn it back on.
Look, excuse me for saying this, but do you guys know what the hell you're doing down there? Bernie?
Yeah.
Look, you're not gonna believe this, but...
You gotta be kidding. Here we go.
Like, what was the point of any of this? So stupid.
Some would say these terrorists are growing to be a pain in Alan Thicke's ass.
Fucking Jesus. That's it. Show's over, folks. That was our run. It was all leading up to that one joke. This whole 37 episodes are all a setup for that joke.
My life is complete.
It's all downhill from here.
I can die a complete person now. Some would say these terrorists are growing to be a pain in Alan Thicke's ass.
Christ. Holy shit. Okay. So they're gonna, this is where we find out they're gonna shoot the missile at the nuclear power plant. And we still don't really know why, because my notes say for some reason, but we eventually kind of figure out why. But so they're gonna shoot the nuclear missile at the power plant. And so then Jock Dude gets shot.
Hey, man!
That's a little thing, moment that happens. It doesn't matter. He's shot in the leg. And then, so Corey Haim runs away. He doesn't have a gun. He finds a butterfly knife. And because I guess Corey Haim thought butterfly knives are cool, and he's like...
Oh, he flips it around. He's like, oh man, reminds me of home.
Wow. Reminds me of home.
Yeah. And then he puts a bunch of matches in his pocket. Does he do anything with those?
No, he doesn't do anything with those.
Okay, I felt insane. I was like, that must be important for something. He just puts like 20 matches.
Well, he's just called his dad again, and then later on, the chick and mustache guy are trying to find him, and they pick up the receiver. She puts the receiver to her ear and says, "Huh, receiver's still warm. He's close."
Receiver's warm. He can't be far.
What?
What? I was like, now, granted, I have not used a hand plastic receiver in, well, that's not fair, but I haven't used them very often anymore.
God.
But how long could that possibly hold the heat of your ear?
Jesus Christ. Dude, we are so fucking old now.
I love it. She also says, he's around here. I can sense his fear.
Well, I know he's around here somewhere. I can sense his fear.
Oh, this movie.
She has the best and worst lines ever in this movie.
Your enthusiasm overwhelms me, and I know how to handle the loose ends.
But like I said, the dude, mustache guy, gets blown away, as we mentioned earlier. And she's hunting him down now. I don't know where she keeps her ammo, because she's in like the most skin tight shit possible, but somehow she has more ammo for this gun.
Yeah.
But she basically gets into a room with Corey Haim, and he has a machine gun. He could just shoot her. No.
Does he?
Yeah, he has the one dude's machine gun they picked up. So what's the solution instead of shooting her? I'm gonna get some pins, get some old style ink pins.
Fountain pens, yeah.
He loads them into a fire extinguisher.
This is the dumbest thing.
And fires them into her.
Now say goodbye.
It's the dumbest. And we think, spoilers, that it kills her. They're literally Like, she has, like, 15...
They couldn't be any more than half an inch deep.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, there's no way these things are any more than... They would hurt a little bit. Like, it would kind of hurt. But she gets hit and immediately... Blah, and I'm like, what? No. Absolutely not. And now it turns out she isn't actually dead. But still, it's fucking stupid. We missed the scene. I just want to talk about it so I remember to edit it in. It's just a little short scene, the piano scene, because we didn't talk about that. That was before this, because it's before she gets shot. She's talking about how much she likes murdering people, and then he boob taps her. According to you, I haven't seen this. I don't know what you're talking about, but apparently he boob taps her. Is it as good as the Divine Enforcer? Boop. I love that so much. I'll see you back at the station. Boop.
Okay. I'll see you back at the station.
And boops his arm. I'm not even joking. He goes, I had to pause it and go and back it up. And I was like, why did he just...
I didn't see it.
Okay. I'll see you back at the station.
Why did he just put... The way he does it is so weird. He goes, I'll see you back at the station. Boop. Just like...
Oh my god. This movie is insane.
Hold on. We gotta go watch this. Come here. So yeah, pokes him. Fucking weirdo.
Why didn't I see that? What this reminds me of, it's very similar to No Contest in a lot of regards. It's got, that's all you need is hostage situation with fun villains.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It's better than it has any right being, but it's still bad.
Yes.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows, only time.
Pen is mightier than the sword. The pen is mightier than the sword. Jesus Christ, he literally said the pen is mightier than the sword after he shot her stomach full of fountain pens.
Well, the old saying's true. The pen really is mightier than the sword.
So this is when Thick finds out about the incinerator.
Yes. And this is when they make that leap to like, oh, this is what they're really after. And then, of course, no actions throughout the film have ever related anything to this.
No.
Besides the power plant, there's nothing. Unless you count the reserve incinerator.
What?
So we find out that this Mayfield is the home of the Federal Reserve Incinerator, where they burn all the old money.
It is their claim to fame, as Rorschach says.
We burn more money than any country in America, or something like that.
We burn more money than any country in America.
It's like literally what he says. It's like literally what he says.
We burn more money than any country in America.
That's
country in America.
That's exactly what he says. He fucks it up just like that.
We burn more money than any town in the country.
And so they were like, oh, okay. And they kind of explain, well, he's going to shoot a missile at the nuclear plant to blow it up, to make fallout everywhere, and then they can just go to the incinerator and take all the money.
Mm-hmm.
And I love he's like, but they're not the Warchak or whatever. It's like, they're not in circulation anymore. They're not good serial numbers.
The money is worthless. I mean, all the serial numbers are out of circulation.
Now Thick's like, who the fuck checks serial numbers on money? I'm like, well, I think that still might be a good point, depending on how they were going to try to spend it. And like, unless they're just like going to buy groceries, they're not going to check it.
Because you couldn't do anything that would be internationally done. Like, you couldn't turn that into like bonds or anything.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you would have to only be using it as like regular spending money, which I guess could be their plan, but like, seems stupid. All right, so their plan literally is nuke the whole fucking town, kill 100,000 people to get $1 million. Seems a little overkill, but
$1 million in pretty much unusable
money that they can buy groceries with. Like, oh boy, what a plan! And then, so I love this. There's this scene, and this is why I said that they had to have the power plant scene so that they could introduce the power plant manager guy and his secretary, because they have this thing where they realize they're going to shoot the nuke at the power plant. And they're like, and so Thick calls them, and it's like, hey, can you shut the nuclear reactor down? And he's like, no, it takes like a day.
Do you know how long it takes to shut down a reactor?
No, how long?
12 to 24 hours. That's not long. Christ.
And they're like, well, they're going to shoot a nuclear missile at it. And he's like, well, fuck.
Yes.
Just send everyone home.
Home? You gotta be kidding. If that missile lands here, there won't be anything left standing or alive for 100 miles.
And he's like, well, that'll wipe out everything within 100 miles.
Yeah, like what? No offense to the person calling him, but it's like, what? At what point have you ever, like, even coal like factories and stuff? It's not an on-off switch.
You can't just turn off your nuclear reactor.
Yeah, like it works off of heat.
Yeah, Yeah, that's what he says. It takes like a day, 2 days to cool down or whatever. And he's like, can you just turn off? You got just an off switch. Call Bernie. Well, let Bernie turn it off.
Bernie flips an on-off switch.
Bernie can flip the nuclear reactor off.
Whatever you say, boss.
And so, but we have this very heartfelt moment where supposed to be heartfelt moment where the manager of the power plant tells his secretary to go home.
You're gonna die. Get out of here.
Sound the alarm. Ginny, go home.
And then they like hug, and I'm like, I'm supposed to care. I've met these characters once for 4 seconds.
And the only thing you have with like the one dude is like, oh, my daughters went to that high school. Let me take a break from your police procedure right now to make sure they're okay.
Yeah. He basically tells him, the cops call, and he's like, no, I don't want. No, hold on.
My 2 daughters go there. Ginny, get my wife on the phone.
I don't have time for this. Turn on your radio or your TV if you need confirmation.
Jane, it's Jenny.
Mr. Johnson.
He like won't believe the cops until he calls his wife and verifies that it's going on. I'm like, you're talking to the cops. What are you? Okay. So then their last part of their plan is they put some of they all have these nuclear protection fallout suits, and they put some of the students,
those banana suits.
Yeah. Yeah. And they put some of the students in them so that it's like they can't tell who's
and then
who.
They leave one
there for no reason. For no reason they leave one there. And I love that. So our guy, Corey Haim, finds it, and he also finds whatever the jock dude's name is bleeding, and they have a great conversation.
Okay, man. You too, man. Eddie, hang in here. I'll be back for you. I ain't going nowhere.
So then he gets up into the room where the countdown timer is.
This scene confused the hell out of me for a couple of different reasons, but it gets to a point where they're doing like a standoff where he puts the detonator down, and Jeff Kober's going to pick it up, and then they get into fighting it. There's a scene where the chick's like, everybody get out of here, and then she just stays in the background with literally nothing to do. Just as like, this, I was not giving acting directions for this at all. I'm just gonna stand here.
Oh, am I in the shot? I love, so the detonator blows up the missile.
Yes, as well as the C4 charges.
Yes.
If the missile gets detonated prematurely, so does the school.
And I'm like, well, if he blew up the nuclear missile in the school, I think that would be enough. The nuclear missile's on the second floor.
Not a lot of way the other way on that exchange.
And I'm like, I don't know if the C4 was necessary when you have a nuclear. Anyways, but I guess the idea is
the main difference is if we blow up the nuke here, there's fallout.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, he has his kick punch fight with.
I am Kick Puncher. My cyber punches have the power of kicks.
This terrible fight with Jeff Kober.
Whenever he first kicks him, and like I thought he dropped the detonator or something because we don't see it on his person.
Yeah.
And there's no pockets with these radiation suits.
He shoved it up his butt.
But he like gets into this fight and kicks him out a window, and he falls onto a car.
Yeah. But it's such a lame kick. Like, he kicks him and he kind of staggers towards the window, and then the next shot is him falling out the window. I'm like, he didn't like even kick him that hard. He didn't even look like he was going anywhere near like flying out the window. And then the next shot, he's like, blah!
Oh, and apparently that's enough to kill him too.
Yeah. And he falls, story on a car. I feel like he'd probably be all right.
Yeah.
It's only like a story, and you land on a car top that kind of crumples, break your fall a little bit. Probably would have been fine. But so then the bitch comes back. The pins didn't kill her.
Yeah. Well, he goes up to the rooftop to try to stop.
The missile.
For some reason, even though it's connected to this timer anyways.
Yeah, I can see,
but he's getting shot at by sniper fire. Weren't they called the best shots, like, in the state or something?
Like 6
But he hits once when it counts.
Yeah, he does. He misses our guy like 5 times in a wide open shot on the roof. But then he goes back inside, and what's her name shows up with an axe and is gonna get him. And she's standing by a window, and our sniper nails her. Somehow sees her through the blinds or whatever, and fucking blasts her. So he puts all the kids run out.
Yeah.
He puts the hurt jock dude and the girl in the van, and then he goes and gets the detonator.
Yes.
Right? And the missile is flying at this point. It's like halfway
it's already taken off.
Yeah.
He gets it, and he's like, what, no more than 10 feet away from the building?
He's literally 10 feet from the wall of the school. Beep. You couldn't have run 20 feet before you hit that button? And then the miniatures that they use.
Boy. Yes.
The fucking... This doesn't look like the windows don't get blown out of the building. The building fucking...
is gone.
It's gone. In the miniature, if the miniature explosion was what actually happened, everybody within a mile is dead.
like the debris would kill the entire... Like all the cops and stuff, they're gone.
They're all like, the cops are like, a block away or something.
If the debris doesn't kill them, the heat of the explosion will just burn off their skin.
Biggest fucking explosion. I'm like, holy shit. And Corey Haim is standing right next to it and is fine. It's so stupid. Oh my god, I couldn't believe that. I was like, they really went all out with their explosives.
And that superimposed explosion in front of the power plant.
Yeah. The missile, it's so bad. So Corey Haim saved the day. The missile blew up in midair, didn't hit the nuclear plant, so that's all good. And then he grabs the girl, and then tells Alan Thicke to fuck off and leaves.
Listen, I need some new clothes and some new shoes, spending cash. Could you rent me a limo or something?
Limo, yes, sure.
Good to see you. Love you, Dad.
The ending's so stupid. He talks to Alan Thicke for a second, and then he's like, all right, we're gonna go fuck now.
Hi, Dad. We're in this one scene together for like maybe 3 seconds.
Yeah, and he goes, now, me and this girl, we're gonna go get a limo and go have sex. Bye. And he's like, kids.
Kids.
Scene.
Finn.
And then we get some great credits. Yeah, there's a couple of joke names. One of them, Gaffer, Albert Koholic.
Get it?
And then Key Grips, Albino, and Pepe Roni.
Hilarious. Fucking hilarious. I don't know what to call this one.
It's definitely bad.
I'd say bad. But it wasn't awful to watch.
No. It's pretty much like with No Contest.
Yeah, it's exactly like No Contest, where it's bad. It's not bad enough to be good bad. It's just kind of bad, but better than it should be.
You could go in and re-edit it as it is to a point. You could just go in and take out stuff.
Yeah.
And it would be fine.
It would be a lot better.
It'd be like an hour, but it would be good.
Yeah, and it's only an hour 20, and so that's the other thing. It's like it's never like boring, and it's never like it fucking moves. And so it's a lot like No Contest, where I was like, oh, that's fine. It's fine. It's not. I think I said it earlier. It's better than it has any right being, but it's still bad. Like that's.
Oh, and for anybody who does enjoy this, get ready for Demolition University.
Demolition University. We're doing No Contest 2 before we do Demolition University. God damn it. Oh, that's all we got, folks. So until next time, keep watching movies.
Especially. No.
We said bad. We can't say especially when we call it bad.
I forgot how that worked. Although, if you want Corey Haim, License to Drive and Lost Boys, that's the way to go.
I'm going to go watch Lost Boys so Kyle stops hating me.
You enjoy that oiled up sax man.
Oiled up who's it? Sax man?
Sax.
I thought you said enjoy those oiled up sax, man. I'm like, this is a very different film than I thought it was.
Yeah.
But I'm on board.